Hey guys, I'm finally back to do my next character review. Well, and as you can tell by looking at me, there's something different about me. If you guessed that I got a new haircut, then you're right. Yeah, I got tired of dealing with my mop of hair that has a mind of its own. Um, Even though I have to put a lot of product in this, it's a lot easier to deal with. Anyway, back on track. um, like my friend mentioned in his video, um, this time, we're going to be doing character reviews of, um, Victoria from The Corpse Bride and Lotso from Toy Story 3. And he did his Victoria review a couple days ago, and I'm here today to do my Lotso review. And I'm sorry if this isn't one of my best video reviews. I haven't done one in a while because we've both been really busy. And I'm also getting over a cold, so I don't feel top of the world today. uh, anyway, I'll try my best to make it a good review, but don't get your hopes up too high. The list of complaints are: he's mean to everybody, even his own henchmen. He's way too obsessed with power. He left Andy's toys to die. He lied to Big Baby. He's evil, of course, since he's a villain, that would be a complaint about him. He made my child afraid of teddy bears, and yes, that's actually a complaint that I read from a parent, pretty soon after the movie first came out. He doesn't look threatening enough because he is a teddy bear. He's unoriginal, and he wants others to suffer because Daisy lost and replaced him. Fortunately, there aren't too many, so hopefully this won't be, too long a video. Hopefully I can, keep it under the 50-minute curse mark. Anyway, starting with he's mean to everybody, even his own henchmen. Well, he is the villain. You wouldn't expect, him to treat everybody, you wouldn't expect him to treat people all that nicely since he is the villain. And as far as him being, mean to his henchmen, I never really saw a time when he was all that mean to them. I mean, yeah, he does order them around and that kind of stuff. The only time I'd say that he was arguably mean to any of them... The only time I'd say that he was mean to any of them was when, Ken basically decided to, what was when, at the end, towards the end, when they're at the dumpster and Ken pointed out to everybody that, everything wrong with what Lotso was doing, so he pretty much betrayed Lotso, and then Lotso throws Ken over to Andy's toys. That's the only time I'd say that he was mean to any of his henchmen. I mean, I can think of a lot of villains that are a lot meaner to their henchmen than Lotso was. Like, Cruella de Vil, the way she treats Horace and Jasper, Hades with Pain and Panic, um, Joker with Harley Quinn. So, excuse me. So, as far as him being mean to characters like Andy's toys, well, he is the villain and they are his enemy. Excuse me. And as far as him being mean to his henchmen, I can think of a lot of villains that are a lot meaner to their henchmen than Lotso ever was. He's way too obsessed with power. Well, this sounds more like you've got a problem with villains in general than just Lotso. I mean, most villains, it's kind of a standard thing that most villains become villainous because of their obsession with either money and or power. I mean, yeah, there are some exceptions, but the ones that aren't obsessed with either money or power, are really more anti-hero type villains, like Catwoman or Mr. Freeze or something like that. Um, that have an actual goal, and and are just willing to to go to any means to accomplish that goal. But I mean, most villains are obsessed with either money or power. I mean, look at like Jafar, Ursula, Joker, Scar, and yeah, there are a few exceptions, even with the true villains, like Cruella being obsessed with furs and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'd say that this complaint sounds more like you have a problem with villains than Lotso himself. He left Andy's toys to die. These complaints about characters almost killing or killing a character that somebody likes get thrown around a lot. And my question is still, why does nobody ever complain about Tinkerbell trying to kill Wendy intentionally when she is supposed to be the heroine? I mean, this complaint was used for Pitch, as far as him trying to kill Jamie and succeeding in killing Sandy. It was also used for Jane when she almost accidentally kills Tinkerbell. And again, Lotso is the villain, and you wouldn't expect him to have much in the way of morals as far as killing or not killing people or other toys. and I'm sorry that I'm coughing, I'm still getting over the cold, like I said. So again, this complaint sounds more like you've got a problem with villains in general than just Lotso himself. He lied to Big Baby. Yeah. He lied to Big Baby because he didn't want Big Baby to go back to Daisy after Daisy had just replaced him. That was supposed to show sort of the breaking point where he officially went crazy and evil. And yeah, I know, he continued to lie to him. For the entire time they were at Sunnyside. But yeah, him lying to him was supposed to be a big point in, I guess you'd call it, his character development, and show when he really show when he really went crazy and evil. So it was definitely an important part of the story. And I think that it in some ways showed how much he did love Daisy, and how sad he was that he had been replaced, and how sad he was that she didn't think of him as an individual and just another toy that she could replace and that sort of thing. And he's evil. Well, duh, he is the villain. This complaint gets thrown around a lot with every single villain we've reviewed. I mean, yeah, I understand that not every child is born liking villains like I was. Like I said in my pitch review, the first couple of movies that I ever watched, I found the heroines to be pretty boring, so I kind of rooted for the villains because I found them more interesting. And I understand if I can certainly understand why a young child wouldn't like the villains because, well, they're the bad guy and they're not supposed to be somebody that you root for and that kind of stuff, but disliking a character strictly because they're evil and because they're the villain, I mean, that's the kind of complaint that a 5 or 6-year-old would use. Come up with a better reason than that. I mean, that's as lame as disliking a character strictly because they're a sequel character. I mean, yeah, I admit that there are some poorly done villains. I've been over them before, like, Prince John from Robin Hood, honestly, most of the Pixar villains. like, like, Randall from Monsters, Inc. And yeah, I know he's popular, but I always found him to be kind of a wimpy villain. I liked him a lot better in Monsters University. Um, yeah, just like I admit that there are some poorly done sequel characters. Um, like Sarouche from Hunchback of Notre Dame, too, who's an example of a poorly done villain and sequel character. Excuse me. And, can't really think of any others off the top of my head. Um, oh, like, I don't hate them as much as my friend does, but like, Scamp Sisters from, Lady and the Tramp, too. They're pretty much just bullies, and that's it. So yeah, while I admit that there are definitely some poorly done villains, disliking a character just because they're evil or the villain, that's a really weak reason. Come up with a better one than that. He made my child afraid of teddy bears, and like I said, this was an actual complaint that I read from a parent pretty shortly after the movie came out. Well, that's not really a reason to hate Lotso himself. I mean, yeah, it's probably a reason not to let your child watch him, uh, for, for a while, but, it's not like it's Lotso's fault that he scared your child and made them afraid of teddy bears. And made him or her afraid of teddy bears. Um... I mean, yeah, I can understand feeling frustrated, with the fact that, that he did. But, I can understand feeling frustrated with the fact that he scared your child to the point where, your child was afraid of teddy bears, but, that's still not really a reason to hate Lotso as a character himself, because that really doesn't have anything to do with his character and his personality. That really doesn't have anything to do with him as a teddy bear. That's just your child's reaction to him. So, not to sound mean, and while I do understand that you feel frustrated about it, come up with a better reason that has to do more with Lotso himself, to hate him. He doesn't look threatening enough because he is a teddy bear. Interesting. Interesting since the last complaint had to do with him scaring a child. Well, you have to take into consideration that he's not really supposed to be threatening humans. He's not really supposed to look threatening to humans. He's supposed to be threatening other toys. I mean, and he is physically a lot bigger than most of the other toys are. And also you have to take into consideration the fact that that they likely made him a teddy bear to be kind of oxymoronical and have something that people generally don't think of as a villain be the villain. Kind of like in the Child's Play Chucky movies where they have a baby doll as the villain. and that sort of thing. But having said all of that, that doesn't really have much to do with Lotso's personality or him as a character. That just has to do with how threatening he looks. So that's a pretty weak reason to dislike him. Sorry, I lost my train of thoughts. That's a pretty weak reason to dislike him. I mean, while I understand wanting a villain to look threatening, that still doesn't really that still doesn't really have much to do with Lotso himself as a character. So nice try, but come up with a better reason. He's unoriginal. While he may not be the most original villain, what with the whole tragic backstory turning him bad and everything like that, at least he does have some depth to him and a backstory, unlike a lot of Disney villains do. So he's not the most original, but also not the most unoriginal either. And he's definitely not as unoriginal as just like your generic power-hungry, one-dimensional villain that that a lot of kids shows seem to throw in nowadays. So while he probably isn't the most original, having the tragic backstory that turned him evil, he's definitely not the most unoriginal either. And just be happy that he has some. I'm just happy that he has some depth to him. He wants others to suffer because Daisy lost and replaced him. Yeah. Yeah, he feels like because he suffered because he suffered emotionally when Daisy lost him and replaced him, and he felt like she didn't care about him anymore, that others should suffer too. That's part of his villainous. Those are part of his villainous qualities, and that's part of what adds depth to him. That ruling over people and causing that ruling over the other toys and causing them to suffer will somehow ease the suffering that Daisy losing him and replacing him has caused him. I'm not trying to excuse it, but that's what I got out of it, and that's what adds a lot of depth to him to me. And That's the kind of behavior that you get when you're dealing with a villain. Anyway, that's about all I have to say about the complaints. Fortunately, it's a short video. Personally, I absolutely adore Lotso. He's in my top 20 favorite fictional characters and my top 10 animated male characters. And he's my fourth favorite animated villain after Cruella, Mr. Freeze, and Harley. Which is interesting, since usually I think a lot of the Pixar villains, since usually I think the Pixar villains are pretty weak, it's interesting that, that I would have, one as my fourth favorite. Personally, I think that he has a great backstory and a whole lot of depth to him, a lot more than you usually see with, most cartoon villains, especially Disney and Pixar. The link to my friend's video will be in the description box below. Please, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye. I was gonna say bye, but something that I should mention. We've gone to doing, We've gone to doing 2 videos a week because we have 2 videos a week. Just one each of us because we both have very, very busy schedules. So hopefully, he'll get his Lotso video up sometime, as soon as he can, sometime next week. Now, bye and see you next time.